Take a quick look at them, Leanne. First up, hashtag Ntando Duma.
Gosh, this was a video you actually drew my attention to first thing this morning. I wasn't really paying attention to social media before I went to bed, but wow, this was a bit nasty. I can't think of another word to describe this, but anyway, I'm not sure we can play too much of it because there's a lot of swearing in this video clip, but I don't know if there's a little tiny clip we can play from it. But in a nutshell, Ntando Duma was, I think it looked like an Instagram live story that was going on here, and she had parked in a disabled bay, and people were telling her, don't park there, you can't park there, this is a disabled bay, and she just let rip.
Yes. So basically, it would seem there's a white woman who comes up to her and asks her, why are you parking here? Because this space is reserved for people with disabilities. Yeah. To which she asked, do you know that I am not wheelchair bound? And it
how
basically
do you know I'm
escalates.
Not
yeah,
and it just went.
She escalates, and Twitter, of course, then weighs in on all of this. We can't play you the actual sound because there's a lot of profanity there, so we won't play that. So basically goes on to cuss out the white woman and saying that, you know, we are tired of white people who treat us, who think they can police everything. And yeah, it just got a bit nasty. And many on Twitter also pointing out that, Ntando, this was not about race. You were wrong to park in a disabled bay. To which others who came out in her defense said, well, we've all done this at some point. And again, people retorted saying,
doesn't mean it's right.
It doesn't make it right. And also, if you are then told that you are what you're doing is wrong, you apologize and you move on.
Well, absolutely, or apologize and explain at that time. Sorry, I don't mean if. And the one lady.
I'm not going to be long. I'm just going to quickly run it.
I think the one lady was even explaining that her brother was in a light aircraft accident and he was left paraplegic, and you know, you will only know until you're in that state. Anyway, that's the basis. But this morning out comes a statement and an apology in light of a recording from last year. This is from last year, which has recently surfaced. I would like to apologize unreservedly, as I fully understand that my behavior was unacceptable. And then it goes on to say, I have deep regard for why disabled parking and other facilities exist, and the decision to park in that bay was not frivolous, as I was instructed to park there by the food establishment, given that this was a quick pickup and didn't require waiting. At no point refused anyone access to the parking, so she's justifying herself here. And it was at this point that I tried to explain to the lady before we had the altercation. I don't want to justify my behavior. The issue is that the matter could and should have been handled better. Once again, I do apologize if I offended anyone for my actions. So there we go. That's the Ntando Duma story. But wow, let's just respect each other. That's all I can ask for. Tele, very much so. The deadline is coming. Fast and furiously. Will that arrest be made or not? And you know, I think this is very delicate, a very delicate place we find ourselves as a country. The respect of law is what is at stake here. Is it going to, or is it not going to happen? And that's what everyone's asking today.
Absolutely. And of course, some people asking about whether the minister is operationally bound by this. Obviously not. He's the political head, but he has been enjoined through the Concord Order, I guess in terms of his oversight role, to make sure that the action is actually carried out. So that's where Kele is at. So everybody waiting to see what's going to happen today. Incidentally, one of the experts I spoke to said that he would expect that the minister and the police commissioner actually bring an urgent application if they wish to not execute.
All right, quickly, finally, Lambda, that is trending. It has been for 2 days, and this, of course, is another variant of COVID-19. It was first discovered in Peru, and this one is said to have the highest mortality rate out of all of the variants. And the bad news is, it has been found in South Africa. But do stay tuned. We are going to be having a conversation with the National Institute of Communicable Diseases, so we'll find out a little bit more about that in a couple of minutes' time after the 7:30 news headlines. But let's get into your news, just gone 7.